Tonight at 6, the employees inside the Givaudan plant in the Clifton neighborhood were scrambling up to the very last minute to reverse course on an overheated tank that ended up blowing up, killing 2 workers, seriously hurting 3 others back in November. Federal investigators say the deadly Givaudan explosion should not have happened, and they're pointing to a mechanical failure. The U.S. Chemical Safety Board releasing its preliminary report. Isaiah Kim Martinez has been breaking down that report today. And Isaiah, for the first time, this investigation gives us a clear picture of what the employees were doing and just how close they were inside the plant to that tank 6 that blew up.
Doug, it looked like it was just feet, right, from the tank to that control room there. And according to the report, these workers, they tried everything to stop the explosion from happening, plan B, C, and D. But investigators say the temperature inside that food coloring tank was 30 degrees above the max, and the pressure was more than 3 times where it should have been.
This is where 2 employees were doing their best to stop the explosion, and they didn't make it out.
A new report details by the minute the desperate effort to avoid the Givaudan explosion that killed 2 factory workers and seriously hurt 3 others. Nearly 4 months later, the emotions are still raw for Clifton residents like Mike O'Leary.
You know, for their families, oh my gosh, it's just got to be heartbreaking. The employees were doing everything they were supposed to. It was the equipment that malfunctioned, which means it's management's problem.
According to the U.S. Chemical Safety Board's investigation, the employees were in the plant's control room, right near Tank 6, shown here in red, trying everything to reduce its temperature and pressure that far exceeded the max. Investigators finding the valves designed to relieve pressure failed in those final minutes. Here's an example of an open valve. Now here's the one on Tank 6. Investigators say almost fully closed after the explosion.
It looks to me like the vent didn't open, and that's what caused the pressure to keep building up.
Jim Waters, chemical engineering professor at U of L, breaking down the report.
The rupture disc did kick in, but either it didn't open completely or the pressure and temperature was just so high that the temperatures just kept on building.
The report showing pieces of the tank blown off and landing right by homes. Hannah and Dan Nitskin still traumatized by the blast.
That was all happening 300 feet from us while we were sitting quietly in our house working.
They blame the company for what the Chemical Safety Board says should not have happened.
They can't make everyone whole.
Right.
They can't.
The Nitskins, who have a young daughter, are still waiting for insurance to fix the cracks to the drywall and other damage to their home.
They just kind of broke off of their hinges, so they didn't break the windows. However, the window behind it, you can see, is just plastic now, and that all shattered inside our home.
Now, according to the report, the internal temperature of the tank reached 385 degrees before the explosion. Now, the city has already said Givaudan will not rebuild in Louisville or anywhere else in Kentucky. But as demolition continues, people question what will happen to that property, which Givaudan still owns. The investigation continues, and the final report is expected later on, Doug.
Isaiah, thank you.